WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have something from Lochlea, the first release, single malt Scotch whiskey, matured in first fill bourbon and, why don't we have first fill for the next word? Pedro Ximénez casks, non-chilled filtered, natural color, 46%, yay! 7,385 bottles worldwide. Half of those stayed in the UK. The rest went either to 10 different European countries, I think, and the USA. So first of all, we have a interesting looking bottle. It's not round, and we have literally tire tracks on here from the farm. Now this Lochlea is a grain to glass distillery, which means that they grow their own grain as well. Now, this distillery basically flew under the radar for a very, very long time until a guy called John Campbellton actually showed up, and he, bam, became the poster child of this distillery for the first release. Now, I looked and I tried to find out if they're growing their own barley, what type of barley is it? And I had to go to Twitter, and on the 8th of July, 2021, the Lochlea Distillery posted a nice little video here of their fields. All right, so, and then someone asked, hey, what variety is that that you will use? And they wrote back, hey, we previously grew Concerto and have now switched to Loreate. Did some trials with beer, B-E-R-E, as well, all about flavor, yield, and standing up to the West Coast weather. So this is probably Concerto. Yay! Very, very good. Now, I'm not going to talk about John Campbell. I'm not going to talk that much about the distillery. I'm going to talk about a guy who actually made this whiskey. So who made this whiskey? This whiskey was made by a guy named Malcolm Rennie. You've never heard of Malcolm Rennie? Well, I've seen his name a few times in a few press releases, and it just keeps on popping up. And I was like, who is this guy? So I went to LinkedIn and I went to look at his CV. And in his curriculum vitae, in his resume, he says he started off as the production operator at Lochlea Distillery in August of 1987 and was there for over 7 years up until 1995. Ah, interesting, interesting. Lochlea, Isle. So this guy, he started working before I did. All right, so I did my university education, so I actually started working in the workforce, and I'm an old guy. I'm over 50. All right, I started working in 1992. So he went to work 1987, so he's older than me. And so he worked for the 7 years in Lochlea, and where did he go after that? He went over to Ardbeg, where he worked for almost 6 more years, from 1997 all the way up until 2003. And then he had a very short stint, according to his resume here, at the Glenmorangie Distillery in the Speyside in 2003. And then this is where I first heard of his name. Kilchoman. Kilchoman, the distillery in Islay. In 2005 until 2010, he was the guy who basically helped the Kilchoman Distillery get up and running. Who was the consultant for Kilchoman? Jim Swan, Dr. Jim Swan. So he is the guy on the ground for Dr. Jim Swan. That's my word for Malcolm Rennie. All right, so he did that for 5 years, and then what happened? He next went over to Annandale. And he did exactly the same thing. He worked there for 5 years and 5 months, and he helped them from the installation all the way up to the distillation and putting everything, getting all the adjustments set up and having this distillery working like a charm. Thank you very much. Also, Dr. Jim Swan was the consulting person at Annandale. So, what happened then? Where did he go after Annandale? He went to Lochlea and worked there for only 4 years and 5 months and actually did exactly the same thing. From June 2017 until October 21, he was the guy adjusting, making all the cuts and figuring out how this system works, optimizing it, and actually just getting that system to run the most efficiently. And then where did I just recently hear his name? Rosebank. Since October 2021, he has been at Rosebank before it actually starts the operation and so on, and he'll be doing that, and he'll help them adjust and get everything all set up. This is the guy you want to install your distillery. This is the guy you want to make sure that everything runs correctly and you learn how to do this right. This is the guy with the experience, with the know-how, with the setting up and getting everything just right. He's the man. And Lochlea had this man. He was the person who made this whiskey, not John Campbell. He was the guy who just came and became, I call him the poster child. I'm so sorry. All right. I don't mean to be any type of disrespectful there, but his opinion and his input on this whiskey is limited. Let's just put it that way. All right. So what am I going to compare it to? You thought you came to have a review about the whiskey. No, my videos are a lot about I learned something, I share it with you. So what am I going to compare it to? I'm going to compare it to a Lindors, which is a brand new distillery out there. So I still have a little bit of my glass from my German video. And I'm going to do one other thing, which many people are going to go, Jason, how can you? I'm going to also compare it to Dingle. But Jason, Dingle is an Irish whiskey. Well, yes, it is, but it's made by a guy called Graham Cole. He is Scottish, and they use exactly the same cask composition as our Lochlea. They use our first fill bourbon and Pedro Ximénez. And now my question of the day is going to be the following. And you may think this question is very, very easy, but I want you to be truthful with yourself and with me. Why do you buy a certain whiskey? All right. So why do you buy a certain whiskey? Why would you buy a Lochlea? You've never had it in your glass before. Why would you buy it? And I'm going to say the main reason people buy this whiskey at this moment, one of those 7,000 bottles, is fear of missing out. That's it. All right? The fear of missing out. That's the only reason you're going to buy this bottle. The fear of missing out. Yeah, we have no reference point, whatever. I paid 70 euros for this bottle. It goes now on the secondary market for 180 to 280 euros. Why? Because people want to have the commemorative first release, which I really don't understand because I'm not a collector. I am a drinker. Good. Whiskybase number 193336. All right, as I said, 70 euros, 69.90 was our recommended retail price over here. And it's now between 180 and 280. So now why would you buy this bottle? The Lindors. All right, this might actually be the best value for money new release out there. All right, the guys at Lindors did a great job of confusing the Flipper Society is what I call them. They did the commemorative with actually a little bit of numbers on there, and they did the one without the numbers. They had a very, very high amount that they released, and it's still available half a year later. It will run out in 2022, and they will be starting with a new one after that, but it was enough to actually kill all the people that wanted to sell their bottles for an overpriced amount on the secondary market. Well done. And it's a tasty whiskey. And why would I buy a Dingle? Why would I buy the first release of a Dingle that is from Pedro Ximénez, cask, sherry casks, as well as first fill bourbon? Because it's darn right tasty. All right? So if I'm going to buy something, it's because of taste? Bam. Is it because it has to be tasteful and have a good price? Lindors. And if I only have the fear of missing out, is it then because of Lochlea? Or Lochlea, it's not Lea, Lochlea. All right. Now, you probably expected me to talk about Robert Burns here, that was on the farm here of on Lochlea. He was there from 1777 until 1784, until his father died. Robert Burns, the poet of Scotland, he worked the days in the fields. In the evening, he was debating at the Bachelors Club in the nearby town or place of Tarbleton. No, it's really about the whiskey here, and it's really about what you think. Why would you be interested in buying that whiskey? And really, really dig deep. Yeah, why would you buy your next bottle? Fear of missing out, good value for money, probably because of a recommendation or because you've had it before and so on, and you just keep on buying it. Wild Turkey 101, I would always buy it again because I know it's a great value for money and tastes good, and I've been proven time and time again that that stuff is fantastic. Or is it just because it's a delicious whiskey and a certain flavor profile there? There might be other reasons. Write them down in the chat. All right, now I'm going to review. Now, on the nose, I do get a youthfulness here. I do get some type of, I'm going to call them liquid raisins. I don't know, I've never had a liquid raisin before. Pedro Ximénez is for me a little bit very raisiny, plums. And it does have that new make type of spirit-driven, bright moment here. What I really do feel that they did here at Lochlea is they had their bourbon cask. It was like, okay, what are we going to do now? Not ready. Well, we need a product. We got a new guy. All right, we're going to put some Pedro Ximénez casks that are there. That's very strong, very powerful. We'll mix it up and we'll try to cover up that new make spirit with that. Ta-da! That's what I feel that I get on the nose. Over here, I have red wine casks, I have bourbon casks, I have sherry. I have a much more complex moment going on here. And even on the nose, it's softer, it's rounder, it's 46%, 46%, 46.3%. Not the difference here. I like this a lot. This is probably Nick Need. Other people are saying the best. Other people are saying Adna Mochen, but I'm not really sure that I like their peated, unpeated mixing and so on. But hey, that's my problem. But for an unpeated whiskey, the new distilleries, this has to be one of the best ones out on the market. My personal opinion here. All right. So Annandale, single cask, cask strength, expensive, limited, but Lindor's. At least over here in continental Europe, as well as UK, I think it's still widely available. And here the Dingle, brand new core range product. I really like this one. I get tropical fruits. I get a tiny, tiny whiff of a little bit of a mineral moment going on here. And I get a nice fruitiness, like a strawberry tropical punch moment. Yum. All right, let's try. Cheers. Lochlea. Very young, too bright. There's a sweet and there's a metallic youthfulness here going on. They're fighting with each other. Very, very sweet and very almost a youthful metallic bitterness. I would not go out and buy a new bottle of this for 70 euros. I don't even think I'd be willing to pay 30 some euros for this. I'm going to give this a C minus, D plus. This is not the type of whiskey I need on my table anytime in the future. Will this whiskey get better with age? Do I expect bigger and better things from this distillery? Do I think they finally said, hey, we need cash flow? And they tried their best to make a product that's going to be sought after? Yes. Is the liquid in the bottle a good value for money? No. D. Now, I've had this in my German video. I've had this here now. I'm going to have it one more time. I'm going to add 2 drops of water to this or so and find out if this helps a little bit. But as I said, this whiskey, my personal opinion, not ready yet. Needs more time in the cask. A little bit of sourness in there. Not my wheelhouse. Young. Not green birch licking of the twig. Young, new makey. Just not there yet. All right, good. Going over here, Lindor's. So the best value for money on the table, I think. Much rounder, much complexer. I'm just looking for the price real quick here. Lindor's. I paid 44 euros for this. All right, 69.90, 44 euros. And still today, I've seen it reduced down because I had so much supply of this, down to 39 euros for this. Very, 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 very nice product. Absolutely great. Well done, well managed. I like a lot. All right, and here we have our Dingle Single Malt, also 44 euros, by the way. So 45 versus 70. Oh, I like the Hawaiian tropical punch moment going on here. If I were to choose, definitely this. I like this a lot. But it has to do with the flavor profile. There is a little bit of a chalky mineral moment going on in there, but you do have that light strawberry Hawaiian tropical punch moment. Very nice. Reminds me of batch 1 of Dingle. Well done. Very, very nice. Value for money, both of these are fantastic. Taste, this is up the front. This is a C plus, maybe even a B minus here. This is solid C, and this is our C minus D plus. All right. Lochlea, good things to come? Yes. Great things now? No. Do they have an interesting history and they're going to do good things? I definitely hope so. And did they have a great guy actually set everything up and make everything work? Yes. All right, so if anyone has any type of contacts here with Malcolm Rennie, who works for Rosebank, I would love to talk to you one day. I would even do in English a episode with you and live stream, and it'd be so great to hear all the stories of what you did and how you've done it and all the problems you've overcome in actually setting up all these new distilleries. Respect and thank you very much for a brand new distillery where we can expect good things in the future. If you do buy one of these bottles, don't open it, keep it, and sell it later on to someone else who's maybe willing to pay even much more for it. Wait for the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th release, just like Ralphie says. Wait for an age-stated product, like Ralphie says, and then try that, and then enjoy that. Just like Aaron, just like Kilhoman, just like the other big new distilleries out there, and not the young infant distilleries. See you later. WhiskyJason here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and also share with people who've never heard of this crazy guy over here in Europe tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Bye-bye.